There's this story about a woman who lost her husband several years ago and developed a friendship with a man who had also lost his spouse. They seemed a perfect match. All their children agreed they should get married. So a date was set and invitations were sent out. The invitations read like this: Phil, Richard, Allison, Karen, John, Matt, and Steve request the honor of your presence at the marriage of their mother and father. Because they are combining two households, they already have at least two of everything. So please, no presents. Reception and garage sale immediately following the ceremony. We do accumulate a lot of stuff nowadays, don't we? What will happen to all that stuff when we die? It's going to be one of those mornings. Jesus was teaching one day, and someone in the crowd said to him, "Teacher, tell my brother to divide our father's inheritance with me." Now there's a battle even Jesus didn't want to get in the middle of. Have you seen how people act when it comes to dividing up estates? Even nice people sometimes go years without speaking to their siblings because one family member forgot some family heirloom that someone else thought that she should get when Mama's estate was divided. Sometimes these things even go to court. Such things happened in Jesus' time too. That is why Jesus said, "Man, who appointed me a judge or an arbiter between you?" Then Jesus decided to turn this family squabble into a teaching opportunity. He said to them, "Watch out. Be on your guard against all kinds of greed. Life does not consist in an abundance of possessions." Over the years as a pastor, I have noticed how families react when a parent dies. The children want what they believe is due them, despite what anyone else wants. In fact, when my mother passed away in February of 2011, my sister June and I went to the funeral home to make the arrangements for her funeral. We told about her burial insurance of $5,000, but there would also be a shortfall of about $5,000 for the funeral, reception, and death certificates, etc. As we were cleaning out her apartment, we found that Mom had stashed cash in coin banks. 50-cent pieces, dimes, pennies, nickels, and quarters, all in separate banks and jars. Then we found money in pockets of all her clothes, all neatly tucked away for a rainy day. She saved all of this money in the apartment because she was born during the Depression, and the banks failed. And she grew up during World War II with rationing. The total of all that money was about $1,000, still leaving about $4,000, which we four children would have to pay. Still, there was resentment among the family. My daughter was upset because she said one bank was for her sons to go to Disney World. Could be. Others felt that it was unfair that I was in control, and they had to pay what they believed was an unfair portion. How many times have we had squabbles with our family members when a person dies, or even as this week, my sister-in-law Sheila is being committed to a Alzheimer's facility in Florida. And her oldest sister, Cindy's oldest sister, was put in charge of cleaning out her apartment. Well, her daughter went down to Florida claiming that she was in charge. And naturally, resentment, heartbreak, disappointment, and anger ensued. But we still, knowing all of this, we still try to accumulate as many things as we can. How many of us have a garage that can no longer be parked in because it is filled with so much other stuff? How many of us have an off-site storage unit because we have too much stuff to fit in the house or in the other garages? And so we arrange for visitation rights to see our own stuff. The late comedian George Carlin famously did an entire monologue on this stuff, proclaiming that the meaning of life is trying to find a place to put your stuff, and that a house is just a place to keep your stuff while you go out and get more stuff. Sounds like a pretty good description of houses that empty out at 5 a.m. on the day after Thanksgiving. How many of you go out for Black Friday? I guess that tells a lot about our age.
We can order online now.
Yeah. Cyber Monday.
Cyber Monday, yeah. As everyone hits the early bird before Christmas sales, our daughter, Tracy, was one of those people who got up early on Black Friday to take advantage of all those super sales, you know the ones. But now every store starts the Black Friday sale at the beginning of November. And yes, you can order online and still get more stuff. Have you ever seen those video clips of people fighting over the items at those sales? Woman tearing apart clothes because there was only one blouse of that design. Now nobody had it. I gotta tell you, I think it's just pure insanity. But we do it. It's all funny stuff, really. But not funny are the TV reality shows that feature what happens to all that stuff. First there was a show called Storage Wars, and now they have Storage Wars New York, Storage Wars Texas, and wherever. Where confiscated storage lockers are the original owners are either dead or unable to pay storage fees any longer, go on the auction block. After the locks have been cut, there is a bidding war among the stuff scavengers, hoping to make a profit of the stuff left behind. Second are the truly tragic programs detailing the life of hoarders. How many of you consider yourself a hoarder? The hoarders who are highlighted live lives swallowed up by their stuff, unable to throw anything away. Their whole identity, I mean every aspect of their life, is defined by their collected piles of stuff. Unless they are surrounded in deep, drowning in their stuff, their lives have no meaning. I believe Cindy is a hoarder, and our kids know this. So when they have stuff they no longer want in their house, they will bring it to our house and innocently ask, Mom, would you like to have this? Or Mom, do you think you could use this? Invariably, Cindy says yes. And we have more stuff in the house. I have learned over the years that Cindy does not know what stuff she has accumulated. So when she is in the hospital or nursing home, I throw away those Chinese takeout containers and other plastic containers that we will never use in a lifetime. I dispose of those towels that have holes in them, despite the fact that Cindy says We can tear them up into rags and use them as washcloths. Anything that is accumulated and lying around is fair game to me. And it is to be tossed out with the other stuff we never use. We have totes of photos from Cindy's family and mine. Sometimes I will pull out one and ask, who is this or who are they? Neither of us know who these people are because their names were not written on the back of the photo, but they are important. So back into the tote they go. I know we're laughing, but do you think you're not stuff prone or stuff inclined? Do you have an online automatic backup system on your computer and cell phone? Does your computer send everything you file to the all-knowing and all-saving cloud so that you don't ever lose any of your online stuff? Even if you don't have boxes of odd papers, old clothes, broken tools, or raggedy toys squirreled away in some physical storage place, chances are you've got old files, months of emails, forgettable photos, and just general information, all stacked on your electronic stuff, and all safely crated and cared for by some electronic gatekeeper and security system. No matter how high-tech your treasures might be, friends, they are still stuff. I know. Since my great-granddaughter was born, I think my phone now has over 2,000 photos of her from the day she was born, every month for the special monthly photos, 1 month old, 2 month old, 3 months old. Then it goes on, and everything that she does is so cute. Gotta send 10 pictures of that. Oh, you're laughing because you know exactly what I mean. Richard Meyer, in his first collection of poetry entitled Misadventure from 2012, has a poem called Sky Sports, in which the gods who can see feelings watch us on our planet splatting each other paintball style with projected envy, greed, lust, etc., marveling all the while at this death gift of ours for shifting misery that makes such great viewing. In today's gospel text, Jesus makes it all too clear how life and stuff are not one and the same. Several years ago, in November of 1993 to be exact, Cindy and I were going home from church with our 2 daughters. We stopped at an intersection to wait for oncoming traffic to pass, and it was raining and slippery, when a young woman driving a large Buick slammed into the back of our car, injuring Cindy, Tracy, and myself, and demolishing the whole back end of our new 1993 Nissan Sentra. After all of the legal matters were settled and money was dispersed, Cindy and I went to the bank and deposited several $1,000s in a few CDs. We thought we were doing good, saving for our retirement and all. But about a year later, Cindy comes to me and says, the money in the bank CDs? Of course I knew about that. Then she cited this very verse to me in a paraphrase and asked, are we like that foolish rich man? I had no answer for her. We then proceeded to cash in the CDs as they matured and used the money to help others in our family, our church, and our friends. But I have to ask, are you also like the foolish rich man? Are you accumulating so much stuff in your life that you are absolutely being consumed by it? Then I suggest you hold a garage sale of life. Get rid of the possessions that now possess you. Unload your soul of guilt and pain. Release your spirit. Sounds like a good idea to me. If you own too many things, get rid of some of them and try to make a few dollars as well. If you have been living for wealth, you have been stealing life away from yourself. Live and give. Your God does. Freely we have received from our God, and freely we should give from all that God has given us. Mark Trotter tells this story. The man was just 29 years old. It was in the newspapers some time ago. He was married and had 3 kids. All 3 kids were under 5 years of age. He's an attorney in Illinois. One day he woke up with a headache. As the day went on, it got more painful. Then he had difficulty seeing. Then he had difficulty walking. He went to the doctor. The doctor said, "You have a brain tumor that will require special surgery right away. If you survive the surgery, then there could be a critical time of recovery for about a year. If you survive that, then each year after that, you can be more assured of a full recovery." Well, my friends, he made it through the surgery. He made it through that very first year. Then he had this interview. A reporter asked him, "Have you learned anything through this?" And he said, quite frankly, "Your life is on loan." You see, my friends, that is the message of this parable this morning. The obvious point of the parable, the one that everybody seems to get, is that we can't take our possessions with us. We are going to leave our possessions behind. The things you have prepared, Jesus asked, whose will they be? But that is not the main point of the parable. The main point of the parable is that your life is on loan too. Fool, God said, this night your soul is required of you. So I ask you, my friends, how are you going to live your lives from this moment on? Are you going to be a wiser man or a fool? Personally, I do not want to live my life as a foolish person accumulating stuff, but rather as a wise and giving person full of God's Spirit and love.